and that most of the people over here, they have decided already which country will be the next destination, the next holiday, and that will be the country where they will get to a higher level. Sorry. I was listening to some of the heads, and they were asking if the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and Grenadines had brought also some present from his country. Welcome, distinguished colleague heads, distinguished Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, distinguished Secretary General of Caricom, Carla Burnett, the Secretary General of the OECPS, Jorge Rebelo Pinto Chicote, the Secretary General of the ACS, Rodolfo Sabonge, heads of regional institutions, spouses of the heads, distinguished ministers, members of the Diplomatic Corps and Consular Corps, representatives of international organizations, distinguished delegates, people of the Caribbean community, ladies and gentlemen, goedenavond, broeders en zusters uit het Caribisch gebied. Het is mij een groot genoegen om u allen te mogen verwelkomen in Paramaribo, hoofdstad van de Republiek Suriname, ook wel bekend als de verborgen parel van Zuid-Amerika. Met baru wan bigi odi. And that was just welcoming you and expressing my greetings on behalf of the people of Suriname in the Dutch language and also in the Surinamese language, Suriname. Ladies and gentlemen, Suriname is honored to host the 43rd regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of the Caribbean Community. Since becoming president in July 2020, I have attended Caricom Heads meeting where we discussed various issues. And some questions were raised in my mind. As a newcomer from Suriname, a bit of an outlier, as Suriname is a Dutch-speaking country in the Caribbean community. And we are the most eastern CARICOM member state located on the continent of South America. And we are the only CARICOM member state with a border with the European Union, French Guiana. Suriname is a multilinguistic, multicultural, multi-religious, and multi-ethnic mosaic of people from around the world, which you have just seen on the screen, and also when you were welcomed. The Suriname is also the smallest country on the continent with almost 93% forest cover and a low deforestation rate and one of the only 3 carbon negative countries in the world. While you'll not have the chance to experience all Suriname has to offer due to the official business we have to conduct for the following days, and I offer you our warmth and hospitality on behalf of the Surinamese people. However, you're welcome to return at your leisure to spend more time with us, relax in the beautiful Amazonian rainforest, and learn about our different cultures, cuisine, and languages to do business and also to invest. And in that context, it is my pleasure to inform you, since the 1st of July, a couple of days ago, my government had introduced for all nationalities in the world a visa-free traveling to Suriname for tourism purposes, family visit, and business. So I'm inviting you all to come to Suriname. You're just getting awake somewhere in the world and looking for a country where you can relax. Well, the same day, you can catch an airplane and come to Suriname and to enjoy the beauty of my country. And this is to promote tourism and also the business in my country. This measure, however, can generate spin-off for tourism in the region and also means more challenges and cooperation of the community security and law enforcement bodies. However, ladies and gentlemen, we have to bring also tribute to persons who have left their legacy behind for us. And that's why I'm asking you to take a moment to pause for a minute of silence to remember those within the Caribbean community who passed away since the last time we formally met. And in particular, we pay homage to an Order of the Caribbean Community awardee, the Honorable George Lemming. And I'm asking you, please to stand and let us take 1 minute silence for him and for the respect of his legacy. Thank you. You may be seated. I applaud the outgoing chair of Caricom, the Honorable John Briceño, Prime Minister of Belize, for his leadership of the community for the last 6 months. John Briceño, your guidance and efforts on behalf of the region as chairman benefited the community. Please allow me to also formally bid a warm welcome to the recently elected leaders in the community since the last regular conference, namely the Honorable Philip Davis, Prime Minister of Commonwealth of Bahamas, the Honorable Dickon Mitchell, the young Prime Minister of Grenada, and the Honorable Philip Pierre, Prime Minister of St. Lucia. Ladies and gentlemen, while preparing the statement, some questions came to my mind. And I looked at the region's developments, the world's challenges, the character of the Caricom, and also the member states. And there are a few notable things that I am observing. We recognize that we are in a peace zone. We recognize that our strength lies in unity. And if we are united, we can wield a more substantial influence and decide to influence. Our strength is also in diversity. We are island states, and states on the mainland, and one member state lies in the narrow strip of land connecting North and South America. We excel and tourist friendliness. We also share several threats, such as low coastline, the adverse effects of global warming and climate change. And when we develop strategies, we have to base them on this, base them on our reality. Since its start, Caricom has had ambitious goals to create a common market, cooperate in foreign policy matters, and promote functional cooperation in various areas vital to social and economic development. We have, moreover, taken many steps to deepen and widen the integration process. However, heads, leaders, ladies and gentlemen, the reality is that we are not yet sufficiently cooperating. The reality is that we still have differences in opinion on issues. The reality is that we have everything to support each other in the economy, single market, movement of goods and persons, and connectivity. But the processes to facilitate this are going very slowly. Despite progress in some areas of regional cooperation, we are still far from achieving the stated goals. We are now here in Suriname with a new chairperson and a new conference, and I reflected on how this conference can make the difference to start important changes. Important to us as member states, but also as a collectivity. These changes have already been mentioned in various meetings, and I will name a few. One, the fact that we have 15 votes, yes, indeed, on our own small votes, but together we have a strong voice that we can use to promote unity, initiate dialogue, facilitate intra-regional cooperation, and joint efforts by Caricom enterprises. Two, we offer different types of tourism, from beach tourism to eco-tourism, from beautiful mountains to waterfalls and rapids, from urbanized areas to areas of indigenous and tribal living, from modern cities to historic sites. As you just saw, the Caribbean has an astonishing natural beauty to offer tourists, combined with Caribbean friendliness, hospitality, unmatched culinary diversity. If we work together, we can create a tourism product that will allow tourists an optimal Caribbean experience, from the east with tropical rainforests to the west with the most extensive reef in our hemisphere. Three, although the island regions do not have abundant fertile lands, they have human capital and they have financial capital. With joint investment and by utilizing modern technology, we can guarantee food security for the Caribbean and the region. And we must see this also against the background of the invasion in Ukraine and the impact of the war to the food security. On invasion we condemn, and we call for an end to this aggression. The agribusiness strategy on the portfolio of Guyana is an excellent example of a region-wide initiative for food security. 4, security is costing our countries individually a lot. Security is a critical use in our communities. Our territorial and maritime zones cover a vast area. It's very difficult for individual states to have a total control on your area, your continent, your maritime zone. But if we work together, we can guarantee security. We can consider, for example, joint satellite monitoring system, joint Coast Guard control, and together tackle illegality in a comprehensive manner. 5, we must promote public-private partnership based on build, operate, transfer within the Caricom. The government should facilitate. The private sector takes the lead, and we can thus realize cargo flights, ferry services to promote connectivity among member states. 6, offshore oil and gas is new for Suriname and Guyana, but the whole of Caricom can benefit from it. And I said it, and I repeat what I've said, and that is what has been said on the Energy, Oil and Gas Summit, which was held in Suriname last week. I welcome my Caribbean sisters and brothers to benefit from our resources and invite them to invest and contribute as contractors and subcontractors in Suriname. All you have to do, register your business at your chamber, at our Chamber of Commerce, and partner with a Surinamese company to become a local content. And I'm inviting you all to come and make good use of this opportunity. 7, the challenge of labor shortage in our Caribbean region is another example. Making labor available, not only skilled labor, but non-skilled for agriculture, manufacturing, and services. Jointly, collectively, we can find a solution and help our citizens to find a good future within the Caribbean. 8, also in the field of making land available for agribusiness, for joint Caricom enterprises, or collective investments, for example, in the gold business in Suriname. Those are the opportunities. 9, in the area of climate change, we can achieve much more together and access the adaptation finance we urgently need, as well as speak with one voice on the issue of loss and damage. Colleagues, those are some of the examples, very pragmatically, how we can strengthen the cooperation and the integration and create opportunities to make the Caribbean stronger. We find ourselves as a crossroads, and this is the moment to reassess, to refocus, and recommit our endeavors to ensure sustainable development and prosperity for the people of the region, ultimately aimed at leaving no one behind. But we require leadership and willingness to go for broad cooperation, to go for a creative approach, to go for innovation in our approach for new strategies, to go for private sector involvement, and to go for the participation of the youth. That is why we are here. And perhaps we'll speak in the future of the Caricom Federation. You never know, maybe. Look at how we shine in sports, soccer, athletes, and swimming. And then cricket. We already have a West Indies team. Let us make a Caricom team in all areas to reach the top. Ladies and gentlemen, the presence in our midst of the Secretaries General of the United Nations, the Organization of African, Caribbean, and Pacific States, as well as the Association of Caribbean States, is evidence of the strategic relevance of multilateralism. As small developing states, the countries of the Caribbean are not part of influential global discussions and norm-setting mechanisms, such as the G20 or international financial institutions as IMF, IDB, and the World Bank. Yet, policies adopted by these mechanisms impact our country's small and fragile economies. Policies regarding de-risking and correspondent banking, blacklisting, and unrealistic classification as middle-income countries, to name a few, are a stark reminder that we need an effective system of multilateralism. A system that not only provides an opportunity to make statements and address issues, but a system where all countries, large and small, have a level playing field. The Caricom economies are facing challenges in the current geopolitical environment. With rising inflation expectations, we have already noticed a notable widening of credit spreads for frontier economies. Therefore, the government of Suriname is looking for opportunities to attract private capital to Caricom and is proposing the establishment of a Caricom private equity fund to support Caricom enterprises. The Caricom should facilitate partners to set up private equity and debt funds in the region to bolster employment and growth. I expect these prominent leaders in our midst to use their influence to make a difference. Action is required now, Secretary Generals. Our countries, as small island developing and low-lying coastal states, are experiencing the fury of changing climate patterns now. The hurricane season has just started with the unpredictability of severe weather events for many islands. Excessive rainfall in the coastal areas of Suriname and Guyana caused massive flooding, displacement of thousands of people, and destruction of property and livelihoods. Indeed, these events serve to underscore the vulnerability of the region. We must advocate for a climate vulnerability index at the global level. Equally important is access to affordable climate finance in support of our mitigation and adaptation efforts. We recently gathered at the 9th Summit of the Americas in Los Angeles, where we met with Vice President Kamala Harris and President Joe Biden during bilateral meetings. And in that context, we welcome the partnership to address the climate crisis 2030, Pact 2030, which will address energy security, climate crisis, and finance in our region. And there are arrangements for follow-up meetings within the framework of this joint cooperation between Caricom and the United States of America. We have spoken enough, as mentioned before. It is time for action, together stronger. Distinguished guests, I was honored and privileged to have the opportunity recently to interact with youth representatives as lead head of youth development within the quasi-cabinet of Caricom. And it was an inspiring conversation with many insightful comments from youth across the region. Be assured that I will make all efforts during this regional leadership position and beyond to champion integrated youth development as the foundation to build anything future-driven. The future of Caricom depends on how we, as head of government, are willing to facilitate this current generation of youth through inclusive, bold, and creative leadership. Our young people have a unique and vital perception of matters, an inspiring drive and motivation to pursue determined goals while overcoming challenges. And I also intend during this chairmanship to advance the contours of the Caribbean industrial policy. And I have addressed the young people already, and I offer, as president of Suriname, 10 hectares of land to the young people of the Caribbean to set up their campus, to do the study on biodiversity, modern technology, but also other studies which should contribute to protect our nations against the climate crisis. And I'm very proud to see one young leader from Grenada entering the stage of heads of government. Welcome, my brother, and hopefully I'm the chairperson of the quasi-cabinet, including the portfolio of youth. And I'm inviting to develop this youth policy together with me for the Caribbean region. Ladies and gentlemen, as regards industrial policy, we have established a national working group to provide the perspective, and during our heads of conference meeting, we will present also the first design, the draft of how we think that the industrial policy can be initiated, can be developed, can be promoted in close cooperation with all of you leaders. Ladies and gentlemen, the true Caribbean spirits, athletes of 8 member states participated yesterday in the 50th annual Caricom 10K road race under the theme, A Healthy Caribbean on a Healthy Planet. And I wish to congratulate all participants and winners of the 10K. And I'm pleased that we could compete again after an inactive period for sporters across the region and the world due to the COVID-19 pandemic. After all, professional sporters need these moments to match their talents with others and improve their skills. We must remember that non-communicable diseases are one of the most significant health threats in our region, and addressing the prevention and control of non-communicable diseases will not succeed until healthy behavior are established at a young age. This means ensuring a health-enabling environment where sports are a gateway to physical activity and healthy lifestyles. And as a contribution from the heads in promoting a healthy Caribbean, I'm inviting all colleagues, all the people, all the ministers for a sportive 1K walk tomorrow morning, 4th of July at 7 o'clock. And I'll wait for you. And you will get the spot where we will gather to start with this healthy walk in the morning. The 50th anniversary, as mentioned, of the Caribbean community next year should therefore serve as an opportunity to reflect on how far We have come as a community in implementing the ideals of the first leaders in 1973. Have we, as a region, advanced functional cooperation and increased coordination of policies to benefit our people? Were we able to effectively facilitate intra-regional trade and work towards removing barriers? Did we implement policies to facilitate the free movement of persons and goods? And has Caricom served the development goals of its members? Indeed, for one of the oldest integration bodies in the Western Hemisphere, we in the community need to undertake this assessment. In true Caribbean fashion, we cannot only reflect, but also have to celebrate our many achievements. Moreover, we have to include our people, our Caribbean people, in the celebration. And I therefore look forward to receive your proposals for a worthy commemoration of our 50th anniversary of Caricom next year. We'll have the festive kickoff during this 43rd regular meeting of the conference. Heads of government will be invited to plant a tree in the botanical garden, symbolizing sustainability in terms of the continued progress of the community, as well as care for the planet and our health. Colleague heads, Secretary General Antonio Guterres, Secretary General Carla Burnett, ladies and gentlemen, as we prepare for our deliberations for the next 2 days, let us remain mindful of the importance of solidarity and the spirit of a community when we address the issues on our agenda. After all, we should be united in our purpose to advance sustainable development for our region's country while ensuring that no one is left behind. I wish you a fruitful meeting, and I thank you all, and may God bless you. Thank you.